What is up, YouTube? I am Darian, also known as the Wave Man. Welcome to the channel. Today we are reacting to crazy stories that prove Wilt Chamberlain is a god. This video was recommended by a subscriber. I forgot your name. It was probably 2 weeks ago, so my bad, my G. But anyways, the link to the original video will be down below in the description. If you want to check that out, you can check that out. Without further ado, let's react.
Wilt Chamberlain was by far the most dominant force the NBA has ever seen. His size at 7'1", with his speed and agility, made him an offensive machine as well as an imposing defender. He was an elite athlete who was way ahead of his time. His strength and stamina was literally unmatched. Not a single person even came close to his individual accomplishments. So, hey man, it's your boy YG, aka Ngala, and today we're gonna talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Wilt Chamberlain. I compiled a whole bunch of crazy stories about Wilt since, you know, it's way better to hear from a person that actually saw him play. These stories might make you think that Wilt Chamberlain was God himself. So with that being said, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for the culture, and let's get to the video, man.
Chamberlain was another one that I met and trained with. Wilt Chamberlain.
You trained with Wilt Chamberlain?
Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain would be in the gym. We eventually ended up doing a movie together.
Yeah, Conan.
Conan the Destroyer, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I was a big fan of his because he came to the gym and he would do a tricep extension that, like, the big guys, the strongest guys, would do, let's say, 120 pounds, let's say, tricep extension, pulling down, right? He would come and he would do 150, 170 pounds. Wilt Chamberlain. That's how strong he was.
They always said he was by far the strongest person who's ever played the NBA.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember that he lifted me up like with one arm like nothing.
When he made the moves with Arnold Schwarzenegger, they were in a weight room. And Wilt says, well, how do you do that? And Arnold goes, well, this is where you do it. You push up. So Wilt lays down on the bench, gets up under it. Bing, 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 bing.
The soap you shower with? It's
Men, this right here.
So y'all telling me Wilt Chamberlain was stronger than Arnold Schwarzenegger? He a bodybuilder. That's crazy. Let's keep it going.
Schwarzenegger never came into the weight room with Wilt again.
I'll tell you a story about Wilt. When the Warriors were breaking camp after their training camp was over, we always had a game between the varsity basketball of Milton Hershey against the Warriors. The Warriors run a play and I get picked, and now I'm guarding Wilt. In one motion, he picked me up, put the ball through, then set me on top of the basket. And he had a big smile on his face. He was a very strong man, very strong man.
So we know he's strong, yeah.
One time in the game, Casey Jones tied him up. He was really upset. And so Wilt Chamberlain picked up the ball with Casey still attached. And he picked it up with his arms extended, brought it to his chest, and threw a two-handed chest pass with Casey still on the ball. That's how strong he was.
And the track coach one time and said, Coach, I'd like to enter in the high jump. And Bill said, well, Wilt, he said, you haven't even practiced. He said, how could you possibly compete? And he said, well, just give me a chance. Wilt won the Big 7 high jump championship with no practice at all.
I saw Wilt Chamberlain run under 2 minutes in 880 yards.
We talking about practice?
I saw him put the shot over 50 feet.
Lenny Wilkins cast off a shot that appeared to be 3 feet above the basket, and Wilt jumped up and caught this ball with one hand. The referee called goaltending, and I hollered.
He was goaltending. I'm sorry, y'all.
That goaltending.
I watched some Wilt Chamberlain highlights before. It looked like a whole lot of goaltending was going on. I'm not hating, I'm just saying.
And he says, Guy, what I just saw is not humanly possible.
Probably the greatest play I have ever seen in my life. Wilt Chamberlain was involved with Gus Johnson. Wilt was standing there. Gus goes up to dunk it. Wilt catches the ball, throws Gus to the floor. Still holding the ball, they carry Gus off the court with a dislocated shoulder from bouncing off the floor. I don't see how anyone in the NBA will ever be as strong as he was.
Wilt Chamberlain went up to dunk a ball, and Calvin Murphy jumped on him. And Wilt actually completed the dunk, came down, took Calvin off his back, and put him on the floor. You all right, little fella?
I've become an exerciseaholic. But I am really into exercising a great deal right now. I have a weight program that I work on. To the exercise classes I run. I play a lot of racquetball. I do interval running, quarter miles and half miles. Sometimes I do some distance work. But I feel, like you said, I feel like I'm in much better shape now than I've been in 20 years. And if I wanted to play National Basketball Association type of basketball, I probably could.
I'll tell you a great Magic story. I'm a coach at UCLA, and he used to come to the men's gym and organize games.
I remember.
And
There were a lot of pickup games. I remember that.
all the time, and he used to make the sides and stack them. So one night I'm watching, and Kevin O'Connor are in the stands. Wilt Chamberlain's playing with 4 of my freshmen against Magic, Bernard King, James Worthy, Byron Scott, and Green.
AC Green.
AC Green.
Huh?
And it's game point. Magic throws a sky hook. Wilt blocks it. Magic calls game. And Wilt says, that wasn't goaltending. That was a clean block.
I heard this story before.
And Magic took the ball. He said, game over next. And Wilt said, hey, coach, was that goaltending? And I said, no, that was a clean block. Magic says, what do you think he's going to say? They're his kids. And Wilt says, all right, look, we're going to play a game till 12. We'll do it again. Winner stays, and there'll be no more shots made at this basket. He blocked every shot.
Every
43
single
years
shot.
old. He was blocking everything.
He was 40.
It was unbelievable.
Best to bring the best out in you. So I was always fortunate to have to know that I was going to play against.
Yeah, I see you with the sunglasses on. I see you, boy.
The winning is only important if you beat the best. My friend Wilt Norman Chamberlain was far and away the best player I've ever played against.
Called me up one day. Sports Illustrated had a cover and said, is Dennis Rodman the best rebounder ever?
Oh, God.
And Wilt was so annoyed. And I cleaned it up saying annoyed. So he calls me up and he asked me, did I believe this bleep? And so I said, well, I don't pay no attention to that. He says, I had more rebounds a quarter than he had a whole game.
What was the toughest thing for you playing against Wilt?
I could never play him the same way 2 games in a row because it would not work. And so through the whole time we played against each other, every game was different.
We hired the hotel now, so you can save a lot. And if you book within 2 days of your trip, you can save.
Looking at his videos and stuff, like he was so freaking.
Look at the MVP. That's the MVP right there.
Able to play any area, like jump over anybody.
We used to watch Wilt Chamberlain every single Sunday. The Big Dipper.
People don't understand how big he is. He like blocks out the sun. The sense of size in Wilt Chamberlain is the essence of the man. It's just there. You just feel like you're in the presence of some giant.
You really can't tell how big he is until you actually see him. I mean, he shook my hand and my hand disappeared, and I'm just going, I don't believe this.
He said he shook his hand and his hand disappeared.
Simply, a man-child in a game where it was just simple. He got 55 rebounds in a game.
55?
Wilt averaged 50 points a game for a full season. 50 points a game.
I learned a lesson early against Wilt. When I was a rookie, I blocked one of his shots, and he blocked every shot that I took the next 5 times.
Wilt Chamberlain played 80 games 1 year and averaged over 48 minutes a game.
He never fouled out of a professional basketball game in his entire career.
He was the only guy that could change the landscape in basketball, change the rules. Offensive goaltending, defensive goaltending.
He had to widen the lane. The free throw shooter had to release the ball behind the line. Wilt could take off from the free throw line and dunk the foul shot.
And I actually saw this, and I think to this day people don't believe it. But he wasn't at the top of the circle, but he was about 3 steps behind it on a free throw, and he ran to the free throw line, took off, and dunked the ball.
Well, for me, what comes to mind is just how physically dominating Wilt was. I mean,
his size and strength and athletic ability. He had a great variety of really incredible strong points to his athletic skills. If people don't realize that, you know, when he went to the University of Kansas, he competed in the shot put and the high jump and the quarter mile, in addition to playing on the basketball team. He was really a superlative athlete.
Shaquille didn't have quite the same athleticism that Wilt had, but he didn't have the endurance that obviously by the 48 minutes a night that we talked about.
Wilt could do whatever he wanted to on the basketball court. Strong, palmed a bowling ball, a 16-pound bowling ball, then put his fingers in the sockets and the holes, palmed it like that, and held it out.
What I love about being a Dasher is that I get to ride my bike everywhere. It's great exercise.
I ain't seen this commercial on YouTube, the Dasher.
And it's just good for the
with the thick white
The sign-up
Dasher
process was
lady.
super.
I think some of our best games were played at the Rucker tournament. Every ball player, whether it was the guys from California or the guys from New York, and either NBA ball players, they would play all the time in this Rucker tournament. And I remember there was a game against Brooklyn. I played with Brooklyn, and Wilt played with the team from Philly. And we had this game against them, and it was probably one of the best games you've ever seen. But everybody don't remember it because it wasn't on video. It was pre-video, so it was a great game. And I think that Wilt, and we had a guy by the name of Jackie Jackson, who was like 6'4" and he can actually touch the top of the backboard. I've heard people talk about guys touching the backboard. This guy can do it. And we ran a play, and Wilt used to shoot this fadeaway jump shot. He used to go up high and shoot it off the glass. So we had a play that we would make Wilt shoot this jump shot, and Jackie would come over and block it. And we had the play set up perfect. Wilt went in and turned, shot a jump shot. Jackie came from the weak side and caught it right at the top of the backboard. And the crowd went crazy. People were running around the place and jumping off the fence and almost jumping off the ceilings and stuff. And it was just phenomenal. And we looked over at Wilt, and Wilt was staring at us, and Wilt called timeout. Just called timeout like that. And everybody was still running around screaming. And back then there wasn't high five. They were giving everybody low five and stuff. Everybody was clapping and carrying on. And then the next 15 plays were dunks by Wilt that I've never seen before in my life. He dunked every single way he can be imaginable.
Growing up, didn't have a lot of TV. Never really knew who these guys were, but my father always, I want you to be mean in there like Wilt. Every time you get it, dunk it. I want you to be able to play defense and block shots like Bill. I want you to be smooth and finesse like Kareem. So I'm like, asking my dad, I'm like, who the hell is he talking about? No, seriously, he used to say these names all the time. I was a little baby, do this, do that. So like when I got up, I'm like, who's he talking about? And then like he used to take me to a couple of Knick games, and I would see, and I'd be like, damn, these dudes are big. So then as I, started developing and, start creating Shaq at the house, and I have all these guys instilled in me.
Why do people compare you a lot to Wilt?
Because he was dominant, and, they changed the rules for him. They complained about him a lot. He was Goliath, and they're just, so I'm like the last coming of Wilt. Because after me, there will be no more.
So guys, tell me if y'all enjoyed this video, man. And tell me what was your favorite Wilt Chamberlain story. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and show love to the YG gang. And I'm out, bro.
All right, young YG, I enjoyed that, man. Good video, man. I'm going to clap it up for you. Shout out to the subscriber who recommended me to react to this video. You know who you are. Shout out to you. Wilt was he was a beast, man. Wilt was a beast, man. He was a god in his era. Legit god. Nobody could stop him, man. Nobody could stop him but Bill Russell. So, 11 rings. Anyways, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Peace, love, and happiness. I'll see y'all next time, man. I am out of here.